So I want to get the chain rule in before the weekend because you need to work on the chain rule all weekend. The chain rule is kind of like a staple, kind of like the product rule and the quotient rule. It is very important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend about half the class going over homework questions. I'm going to spend the rest of the class going over chain rule. Everybody with me? Okay, we got close to 20. We got 19. So that's good. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I got something set. Yep, I got something. Yep, that's right. So I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're doing pretty good on the videos. All right, so here is our first question. I'm going to go backwards. And I got 2 or 3. This is 1.668. 1.668/5. Limit? No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I was on the wrong one. 1.668/21. And the question is, oh yeah, this is product rule and quotient rule. So this is a test question. G of x is equal to x cubed minus 1 times x squared plus 25 over x squared minus 25. And here is the problem right there. So I'm going to rewrite it. This is the product rule predominantly. So g prime of x is going to equal the first times the derivative of the second. Where'd all my go? Derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. All right, so let's go ahead and rewrite it. G prime of x is equal to x cubed minus 1. And then we're going to take denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times the denominator prime over denominator squared. Plus x squared plus 25 over x squared minus 25 times 3x squared. All right, so now we got to clean this up. Are we worried about the denominator? No, we're not worried about this denominator. In fact, it looks like this denominator might work out to get a common denominator with this one. So it looks like we need to just focus on this right here. So here we go. G prime of x. Oh, just to let y'all know, the calculus is done. What are we doing now?
Algebra.
Algebra. So x cubed minus 3. And then I'm going to take, and first of all, I got to get another pink pen. That pink pen is not any good. Let me get a new one. Here's one. Okay. So you can take this and you can, that minus 2x, and you're going to get negative, that's going to be 2x squared minus 50x minus 2x squared. No, wait a minute. 2x cubed. And that's going to be 50x, and that's going to be negative 2x cubed. And minus 50x. Y'all check my algebra and make sure I didn't screw that up. Over x squared minus 25 squared. And plus, and I'm just going to take that 3x and I'm just going to put it with that numerator. So I'm just going to do 3x times x squared plus 25 over x squared minus 25, because that's to the first power and this to the second power. So I see us maybe putting these two together, and it looks like we're going to have to put these two together. Well, that's out, so that goes out with that. I was hoping that would go out. That's why I was checking my signs. Negative and negative, that's 100x. And this is going to go with this. So g prime of x is equal to x cubed minus 1 times 100x minus 100x plus, and that's over x squared minus 25 quantity squared plus, I think I'm going to go ahead and multiply this by x squared minus 25. So that's going to be x squared minus 25 quantity squared. That's going to give me 3x times x squared plus 25 x squared minus 25. Got a common denominator here. I'm looking like some of these is going to cancel out. I don't know. Just some more algebra to do. I don't know how long they're taking, how far they're taking this, but I'm going to take it as far as I can. So g prime of x is equal to, well, we can distribute that 100x with this. That will be negative 100 x to the fourth plus 100x. And this is x to the fourth minus, what's 25 times 25? Is it 525 or 625? I can't remember. I think it's 625. Plus 3x times x to the fourth minus 625. Somebody check and tell me what 25 squared is. All over x squared minus 25 quantity squared. Did somebody check 25 quantity squared? What is 25 squared?
625.
Okay. G prime of x. I hope they didn't want to expand this x cubed minus 1, because that would be x minus 1 times x squared plus x plus 1. I hope they didn't want to do that. I'm scared they might want to do that. That might be the difference in our answer. Is equal to negative 100x to the fourth plus 100x plus 3x to the fourth minus, good gracious, 1875 all over x squared minus 25 quantity squared. Negative 100 plus 3 is what? Negative 97x to the fourth plus 100x minus 1875. Oh, good gracious. Over x squared minus 25 quantity squared. Now, unless that's factorable, and I'm not going to worry about it being factorable, I'm going to say that's probably the answer. If not, now there's two things right here. You could have expanded that x cubed, and you could maybe factor that. Let's see what they got as an answer. And if they even took it that far, they may not even taken it that far. G prime of x, 0. That's good. That's a good guess. G prime of x is equal to 3. Let's see what they get. Ooh, I see the 100. There's the 100x to the fourth. We had that. 1875. Okay, we got something. There's the 100x. Okay, we've got a small error. I think I know what that error is. I think that small error is they wanted to expand it right here. Right here. Expand that. And that's going to be a, well, if you expand it, you're going to get the same thing here. I must have an error. Did anybody get an error on it? Did you see where I might have, looks like to me, I've got a couple of exponents off. Let me look again. Negative 100x to the fourth. Let me look again, see where they are. We've got too many numbers to be, it's either, I don't forget where I'm at. Where am I? Here we go. All right. We've got the 3. We've got the x. That fourth needs to be a 6. There's my negative 100x to the fourth. There's my negative 1875. And there's my 100x. So I've got everything except for a couple of things. Evidently, I went wrong somewhere. Did somebody check and see what 3 times, well, that's 1875. So let's look and see what I've got wrong. The 6, okay, this 6 right here is not right. And that 2. Okay, the 6 and the 4. Is that the, no. 1875 is supposed to have an x squared. And that 3x is supposed to be a 6. So there's the 3 and the x. Oh, I see there, right there. I forgot I dropped the x right there. So that would be 3x to the 5th. Probably dropped somewhere else. That would be 3x to the 5th. Wait a minute. I see it. I just dropped it. Just dropped the whole thing right here. Oh, I suck. Right here. And nobody said a word. Appreciate y'all's communication. That 3x squared right there. I just brought it down as 3x. Thanks a lot for your communication. 3x squared, that would be 3x to the 6th, and that would take care of the there. So we got it right, except for a small screw up that your teacher just decided to drop this. I just decided to change it to a 3x. Question, gripe, complaint. Now, would I put a lot of these on the test? No, I'd probably put 1 just to see if you knew what you were doing. And this is the answer. Any questions? Who sent this one? Anybody want to volunteer? I just want to see, do you see where it went wrong or? Okay. Nobody's going to say anything, so. Oh, let me ask you a quick question. Let's see. Algebra. Where's the calculus? The calculus is right here. So 80% of this problem is what? Algebra. 80% of this problem is algebra. Now you start to see why people fail calculus. They don't fail it because of calculus, they just suck at algebra. Hell, I even made a mistake. All right. Okay, Miss Gammon, are you here?
Yeah.
Did that help, or did you see where you had a problem?
Yeah, it makes more sense now.
Okay. I'm going to delete these 2. I know you didn't send it twice. I don't know why I'm getting 2, but. Okay, 1.6. Ooh, somebody sent this one. Ooh, this must be a bitch. 1.6, 61. I've got 2 or 3 people send this one. 1.6, 61. I don't know what SS is. 1.6, 61, 20. The population in thousands of a small city is given by the following function, where T is times in years. That's T, that's a function right there. Okay, find the growth rate. They just want the derivative. So find the derivative of P of T. P of T is equal to 400T over 2T squared plus 9. Because what is rate of change or growth rate? What is that a fancy word for? Probably slope. And they want it at a certain point, so that's why they want the derivative. Growth rate and slope, rate of change, slope, about the same thing. So here we go. P prime of T is equal to denominator times numerator prime minus the numerator times denominator prime over denominator squared. And like I said before, you're really not worried about the denominator unless you can cancel something out later. All right, I want you to take the derivative here and here, and I want you to see how far you can get. Do not be discouraged if you You know, don't get all the way to the end. Because you're learning how to do it just like, you know, somebody learned how to play the piano. There's going to be days that you really suck at it. Oh, I forgot. Unless some of y'all are perfect. Do we have any perfect people in the class? Well, good. I'm glad we don't have any people that think they're perfect. We got lots of foreheads today. Lots of foreheads, but no ceiling fans. Thank you, Mr. Moselle. I appreciate the ceiling fan. Yeah. I'm still eating my ice cream. All right. I'll give you another minute. Mr. Bostic, please tell me you're not inside with those sunglasses. Please tell me you're outside. Okay, good. I wouldn't want to put a picture of you in my book that I'm going to write for the future. I'm going to write a book. It's going to be predominantly for women though. When to Run.
Anything else you've added to it since then?
What?
Anything else you've added to it since last semester?
No, I think it's going to be the same. Just 25 chapters. The last chapter is going to be for men because there's only one person to be weary of, and that's the Oompa Loompa, orange face and white neck. But the first 24 chapters are going to be for women. And the number one chapter, the first chapter, is if a guy wears sunglasses indoors. Run.
Future domestic abuse.
Say again, it is. It's future domestic abuse. You marry a guy like that, he's going to end up beating you one day or 2 days. He's going to end up beating you.
The Brian Laundrie special.
Yeah. Have they caught him yet?
No, but if Dog the Bounty Hunter does, I'm going to die.
Oh, my God. If he don't die of a heart attack with him and his cigarettes.
I think he's probably dead now.
All right, here we go. P prime of t is equal to 2t plus 9. There I go. Almost dropped another one. Somebody tell me what the derivative of 400t is. 400, Hubert. Thank you, class, for your communication. I'll just have water and a carrot, please. And somebody tell me what is the derivative of 2t. Watch it, Miss Louisiana. If you smile, these other people will get mad at you. Don't smile. What is the derivative of 2t squared plus 9?
4t.
I heard. This is what I heard. Okay,
4t.
I think you said 4t.
Yeah, my bad.
Articulate, please. I appreciate I appreciate y'all communicating. But please, volume and articulation. 2t squared plus 9 quantity squared. Oh, and why I mentioned it, the calculus is done. So all you got to do now is algebra. Here we go. P prime of t is equal to 800t squared plus 3600 minus 1600 t squared. Somebody check that, please. I think, let's see, 4 times, that is 1600, isn't it? And a negative, yeah. Divided by 2t squared plus 9 quantity squared. And what is 800t squared minus 1600t squared? Well, that's negative 800t squared plus 3600 over 2t squared plus 9 to the 4th power. Now I would stop right there because that's a decent equation. You can't cancel anything. Let's see. You could factor out a negative 800, but it's really not going to help anything. So I think that's good enough. Now they should give you a number if they're wanting to know. They might ask you to plug in a number on this question, but let's see what they get for an answer. Negative 800t squared plus 3600 over 2t plus 9 to the 4th power, or 2nd power, sorry. I don't know where that 4 came from. That's it. There you go. I knew they would. Now, what do you do with that 9? Come on.
Drop it into T.
Plug and chug. So here's the B part. You're going to take that 9 and P prime of 9 is going to be equal to negative 800 parentheses squared 3600 divided by 2 times 9 squared negative 800 times 81 plus 3600. I have no earthly idea. That's going to be, we'll do it on the calculator. 2 times 81 plus 9 squared. $81 times 8 is 64800. Somebody check my math. Negative 64800 plus 3600. Please check my math. Over 2 times 81 is 162. 162 plus 9. 171. Yuck. Did somebody check my 64800?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. All right, now somebody do. I'm not even going to try. Let's see, 002 612
29241.
612 at the top. Somebody check my over 171 squared. Is that the right numerator for 6481 plus 36?
Yes.
And take negative 61 200 divided by parentheses 171 squared. Oops. Squared. I hate Thursdays. There. I got negative 2.09. What'd y'all get? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, thank you. I don't understand y'all people. Y'all just can't speak. All right, negative 2.09. So you got a 2% reduction, or 200, I don't know what they want. What do they want? 2, round to the nearest integer, that'd be 2. Negative 2. Well, I have no idea what they got. Somebody didn't, I thought y'all checked my math. Evidently not. Let me go back and check my math since I can't get the class to do it. Negative 64,800 plus 3,600. 61,2. So that's okay. Let me go back up here. 800 times 81. 64,800. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong unless I. 9 times 9 is 81. Plus 3,600. Let me read the directions and see if they don't want us to put it in the first equation. Find the population. You're supposed to plug 9 into the original equation. I hate when they do that. I didn't read the directions. P of 4 is equal to, I'm at 9, is equal to 400 times 9 over 2 times 9 squared plus 9. It says population. It doesn't say slope. It says, or rate of change. It says population, which is that. I should have known better. So that's going to be 3,600 over, let's see, what's this? 2, that's 81. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 times 2 is 162. 162 plus 9 is 171. That still don't look right. If it ain't, I don't know what they did. Let's go with 3,600 divided by 171. That don't look right at all. 21.05, is that what they got? Yeah, 21.05. Well, it's in thousands, so that's why they got the. So 21.053. Now, there is the growth rate. So at 9 years, round to the nearest integer, negative 2. Well, hell, I don't know what it is. Okay, times 1,000. I'm sorry. 2,093. I forgot to multiply by 1,000 because it says 1,000 right here. So whatever decimal you get, you got to move the decimal 3 places to the right. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm worried about the calculus. If you get the calculus, I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's move on. Was that a test question? The first part of it was a test question. I would ask that on the test, but I wouldn't do that thousands crap. I don't care nothing about that. So Miss Gammon and Mr. Harrison, y'all good on that? Does that make better sense? Hopefully the derivative did. That's yes or no? Yeah, nobody's gonna say anything.
Yeah, that made more sense.
Thank you. One of these days, y'all gonna be in a relationship and the person is not gonna speak or communicate to y'all, and it's gonna drive you crazy. You're gonna remember me. You're gonna remember, Hubert told me that communication has you gotta have communication. All right, this is 1.657. 1.657/19. 1.657/19. See, what time is class over? Class is over at 3:55. Okay, we good. I'm gonna make this to say an accessory company finds the cost and revenue in dollars and productions given by C of X is equal to 750 plus 35X. Nobody writes equations like this. Minus 0.066x squared, and R of X is equal to 55x to the 9/10 power. Determine the rate of change at which the company average profit. Okay, profit is revenue minus cost. So they're probably going to want you to subtract those. Belt changing when 179 belts. Okay, that's part 2. So revenue is how much money is coming in minus cost. Now, I would assume they want you to take the derivative of that, since they say determine the rate of change at which the accessories average profit. Now, in some books, average profit means that you divide through by X. So I'm going to make sure there's a subtraction, and then average you're going to divide by X. I would assume, I think, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and subtract them. So let me go right here and do profit is equal to revenue, that's the money coming in, minus the cost that you put out to make whatever you made. So P of X is going to be equal to negative 0.066x squared plus 35, oh shit, I'm sorry, 55x to the 9/10 minus, and that's a negative, minus 35x minus I'm just going to start over. P of X is equal to 55x to the 9/10 minus brackets negative 0.066x squared plus 35x plus 750. Now, why did I put that second part in brackets?
So
Why did I
we would
put
just
the
use
second
the
part in
negative.
brackets?
To distribute the
To-
negative.
Because you got to distribute the negative. And if you don't remember to do that, you might as well not even do the problem, because the whole problem is going to be wrong. So P of X is equal to 55x to the 9/10 plus 0.066x, is that to the second power? Yep. Minus 35x minus 750. Now, at this point, that's the profit. But the average profit, you're supposed to divide by X. And I'm just going to check to see if they divided by X, because the way it's written, it says the average profit per belt. So I'm thinking they're dividing by X after they find it. I'm just making sure because I don't want to do the problem totally wrong. And they are dividing by X. So I wanted to make sure of that. So I'm going to divide by X to get P hat of X, which is called the average. So I'm going to divide 55 X over 9 over 10 divided by X to the 10/10. And 0.066 X squared divided by X to the first. And 35X to the first divided by X to the first. And negative 750 divided by X to the first. Okay, all those are X to the first. So P hat, or average profit, is equal to 55 X to the 9/10 minus 10/10 plus 0.066 X to the 2 minus 1 minus 35 X to the 1 minus 1 minus 750 X to the negative 1. Oh, and just to let y'all know, we haven't done any calculus yet. P hat, or P line, whatever, is equal to 55 X to the negative 1/10 plus 0.066 X to the first minus 35 minus 750 over X, or X to the negative 1. Now, the reason I'm leaving it X to the negative 1 is they're going to ask us for the rate of change of the profit, I think. And we're going to have to take the derivative of each one of these, I think. So P prime of hat, or P hat, yeah, there it is. It says, now find the rate at which the average profit is changing. So now we're going to do the calculus. So take the derivative of each one of those. Go ahead. And that's going to be P hat prime of X. So go ahead. In fact, I'm going to put it on the next page. So P of X is equal to 55 X to the negative 1/10 plus 0.066 X to the first minus 35 minus 750 X to the negative 1. P hat, or P average profit derivative, is equal to negative 1/10 times 55 over 1 X to the negative 1/10 minus 10/10 plus 1 times 0.066 X, 1 minus 1. This is X to the 0. So that's going to be plus 0, minus 0 times 35, X to the 0 minus 1, negative 1 times 750 X to the negative 1 minus 1. P prime of x is equal to, well, this right here, that's going to be, well, 5.5 if you want to get technical, or you can leave it 55 over 10, but I'm going to leave it as a decimal. Negative 5.5 x to the negative, what, 11/10 plus 0.066 x to the 0. What happens to this term? Well, it's a constant, Hubert, and last time in class, you said all numbers go to what?
0.
0. So minus 0. And that negative forms a plus, and that's going to be 750 x to the negative 2. So P, the rate of change for the average profit, that's what that is equal to negative 5.5 x to the negative 11/10 plus 0.066 plus 750 x to the negative 2. And I'm going to put an or right here. And you could do negative 5.5 over x to the 11/10 plus 0.066 plus 750 over x to the second. And I think probably, since it is a business related question, they're just going to go with this right here, but I could be wrong. I'm going to type in a 3. What is 13 over 2? Well, they got 6.5. 0.066, I got something wrong. I don't understand why they did the quotient rule. Plus 790. I don't understand. I don't understand what I did wrong. They did the quotient rule. Why did they do the quotient rule? Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. I don't understand why they did the quotient rule. Okay, that's what I got, something like that. And I divided by x, in which I did, okay, they did the quotient rule here. I divided each one by x, which I still should come out with the same answer. So we can, okay, that's not a big deal. We can still do this. Hold on. I just want to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong. Let me go back to the question, or go back here. Oh, get a common denominator. We could get a common denominator. And I think they just got it written a different way. They got it over one denominator, and I've got it over two denominators. So we could get a common denominator of x squared. So I would have to multiply this by x to the 9/20. That's what I would have to do. So I'm going to rewrite this, and we'll show you we can get the same answer. So negative p prime of x is equal to negative 5.5 over x to the 11/20 plus 0.066 over 1 plus 750 over x squared. Common denominator is x squared. Everybody with me? So I'm going to put an x squared here, an x squared here, and an x squared here. Make sure my signs, this is negative, this is positive. Okay, how many times will x to the 11/20ths go into x squared? Well, 9/20ths. So that's going to be negative, or 5.5, 9/20ths. And how many times will 1 go into x squared? X squared times 0.00x squared, sorry. And x squared will go in there 1 time plus 750. So now I've got negative 5.5, 9/20. I can't, I'm just 9/20, sorry. Plus 0.6066 x squared plus 750 all over x squared. And that should be what they got. So let me go back and see what they got. Sorry about that. I just did it a little different. Please let this be the right one. Yeah. I'm going to type in 3. They did it by the quotient rule. I did the algebra first. Okay, 11/20ths, which is 11 halves, which is 5.5, x to the 9/20ths, plus 0.66 x squared plus 750. Whew! Sorry about that. I thought I was going crazy there for a minute. And that's the same answer we got right here. See there? Same answer. Okay, now what are they asking? What's the address? Good gracious. When 179 belts have been produced, average profit. Okay, are they asking for the rate of change or the average profit? Okay, is changing at. Okay, changing at. And you got to plug and chug. So I'm not going to do that, but plug 179 into these x's right here, and it's either going to be a positive or a negative, and that's going to be belts per dollar probably. Let's see, what did they give us? Yeah, in dollars, belts in dollars. I'm just going to put a 3 there, and belts per dollar. I'm going to give you the answer so you can check it with your plug and chug. 0.0711 when you plug and chug. Okay, I'm gonna shoot over to chain rule now because we only got like 25 minutes. So I want to get over to the chain rule. And we can save the rest of these questions for Tuesday. So I'm going to delete this one. We went over that one. And I think we went over that one too. Let me make sure. Did we go over that one? What is that one? Yeah, same one. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest of these, and I'm going to get off of this, and we're going to go to the chain rule. How do you know when to use the chain rule? Parentheses. When you see parentheses and a power, you're going to use the chain rule. Parentheses and powers, exponents. F of x is equal to parentheses x minus 4, x squared minus 4 raised to the third power. This is an example of one you would do with the chain rule. Here's another one. F of x is equal to e to the negative 2x. You got parentheses, and you could have a power up here too, but that's parentheses. Whenever you see parentheses, be wary. I'm not talking about parentheses like around x plus 2 and x plus 3. I'm talking about parentheses with a logarithm, parentheses with an exponent, parentheses with an e, parentheses with a trig function. And of course, y'all don't have to worry about trig, but 4 times the sine of 4x. Okay? F of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2 to the negative 2 power. These are all examples of parentheses. I'm not talking about this. F of x is equal to x minus 2 times x plus 3. I'm not talking about that. You use the product rule there, or algebra to use the FOIL and then do the sum and difference rule. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more advanced, usually with exponents or e or a trigonometric function, a logarithm. We're not the logarithms yet, so that's why I didn't throw that in there. Okay? What do you do when you do the chain rule? The chain rule, and this is Hubertism, this is not by your book. Honestly, you do not want to go by your book. The chain rule is the power rule with the derivative of what's inside. Now, show me a hand of somebody that's had pre-calculus or calculus before. Okay, I'm going to go with Mr. Gregory. Do you have calculus or pre-calculus?
Pre-cal.
Okay, what about Mr. Franklin? Calculus or pre-cal?
A pre-cal.
Did y'all do the chain rule?
Not that I remember.
Okay, has anybody had a calculus class? Anybody? Okay, Mr. Crawl, do you remember the chain rule?
I'm sure if you like reminded me in like a
Okay,
general
but you don't remember it.
but no.
Okay. If you're ever in a calculus class, you might hear this with the chain rule. What's inside? What's inside what? What's inside the parentheses? So I'm going to take my handy dandy pink highlighter, and every time we do the chain rule, I'm going to highlight those parentheses so you won't forget it. Everybody with me? Parentheses, 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 parentheses. Everybody with me? Now, I'm going to pull up the chain rule in mathematical terms, and you can write it down if you want to. You won't, but I'm going to pull it up right quick so you can see why I do a Hubertism here. Chain rule. Images. There is the chain rule. Right there, right there. Okay, there you go. There's the chain rule. Somebody tell me what that says. And don't just recite the letters. What does it say? Everybody's supposed to go, can you make heads or tails out of it? No. So forget it. This is the chain rule right here. You do the power rule, and then you add the derivative of what's inside. Let me show you what I'm talking about. With the power rule, we said that if you have f of x is equal to 4x to the fifth. Power rule says what? Power rule says that I'm going to bring this out, and that's going to be 5 times 4. Bring the x down, 5 minus 1. Does everybody agree with that? Does everybody agree that that's what I taught y'all, and you did it in homework and you got the right answer? Does everybody agree with that? All right, and the answer is 20x to the 4th. You're going to do the same thing with the chain rule, except you're going to add the derivative of what's inside. I'm going to do this by the chain rule. You watch what I do here. F of x is equal to 4x to the 5th. And I'm going to do the chain rule. 4 or 5 times 4. Bring the x down. 5 minus 1. And then I'm going to take the derivative of what's inside the parentheses. What's the derivative of x?
One.
And you just did the chain rule. That's the difference between the power rule and the chain rule. You add this step right here. So I just did the chain rule. Do I get the same answer? Yeah. So that's how you know it's right. 20x to the 4th times 1 is 20x to the 4th. F prime of x. So now let's do these examples that I showed you. Or let's do 2 of them. You don't have to do, we'll do e to the x later. Here we go. F of x is equal to x squared minus 4 to the 3rd power. And take my handy dandy pink marker. And I'm going to bring this out, do the power rule, and minus 1. F prime of x is equal to 3 times x squared minus 4 to the 2nd power. And then what is the derivative of x squared?
2x.
And now you just clean it up. So your final answer is f prime of x is equal to 6x, parentheses, x squared minus 4, 20 squared. And I will tell you this, and I mean this with all sincerity. I want everybody to listen to this. I know teachers that can lobotomize students with this problem using that right there. Just telling you. So let's do the other one. F of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2 raised to the negative 2nd power. All right, you do that one. And I'm going to draw these parentheses in pink. Miss Blass, you sure are quiet today. Why are you so quiet?
I don't know.
You're just taking it all in?
I guess so.
Miss Davis, I think next year next semester you ought to take 3 classes from me. What do you think?
Yeah.
What other class are you in? The 110 or the 109 or the 120?
111.
111.
Yeah.
You know you can take calculus next semester. You know I teach it. And it's just a continuation of this and the trig. You could walk into any college with calc under your belt, and you can take any major you want. Except for gender studies, underwater firefighting, and what was the other one called? International studies. You need a much higher math and calculus to do those. Somebody give me, what are we going to do? Bring the -2 out. 3x squared minus 2, -2 minus 1. And what is the derivative of 3x squared?
6x.
6x. So your final answer is -12x parentheses 3x squared minus 2 to the -3rd power, or -12x over 3x squared minus 2 to the 3rd power. You remember this, Mr. Crawl?
Yes, sir, I do.
Was it confusing back then?
Like I understand it now, and
You understand it now?
definitely. I mean, I understood it then, but she definitely did explain it in a different way.
Did you take it at high school or here or somewhere else?
Yeah, I took AP Calculus in high school.
Okay. All right, so let's do another one. I'm trying to do another one. We got time. Let's do, I'm going to make it a little bit. Let's do f of x is equal to 4 times x minus 3. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. X to the 4th minus 3 to the 4th power. And do that one. See what you get. I'm kind of starting you off easy. After this one, we'll do one more after this one. I'll pull it out of your homework. There's your parentheses. So that 4 comes out front. So f prime of x is equal to 4 times 4, x to the 4th minus 3, 4 minus 1. And then somebody tell me what the derivative, be careful here, what is the derivative of x to the 4th?
(4x cubed).
So your final answer, f prime of x, is 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64, x to the 3rd, x to the 4th minus 3 to the 3rd power. Now let's go look at one out of your homework. Where is your homework? What section is it? 1.8? Somebody tell me, is it 1.7 or 1.8?
1.7.
I clicked it. Why isn't it coming up? Oh my God, it's not working. My gosh. I just logged on right before class. Damn Russians. Oh, that's the wrong one. My labs math. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to run around in circles and panic and call Hubert or email him. That's what y'all do when Blackboard don't work. And you can go to Pearson and go right through Pearson, but y'all don't do that. Y'all get mad at me because y'all send me an email and it says, I can't get into Blackboard. What am I supposed to do? And I don't send you an email because you're supposed to know what to do. All right, chain rule. Let me see one I put on a test. Well, there's one right there, but I don't want to. Yeah, you can do that one. F of x is equal to 6 over 8 plus x. F of x is equal to 6 over 8 plus x. Now, somebody tell me what we need to do first. We're not going to use the quotient rule, although you could use the quotient rule. We're not. What do we need to do with this before we start? Starts with an R.
Rewrite it.
Rewrite it. And do what?
Eight plus x to the negative 1.
Bring the 8 plus x up to the top. F of x is equal to 6, 8 plus x to the negative 1 power, because it's to the first right now. You bring it upstairs, it becomes negative 1. Oh, gotta get my highlighter out. Am I going to do this every single chain rule that you send me? Yep, I'm going to highlight those parentheses every single time. F prime of x is equal to negative 1 times 6 times 8 plus x to the negative 1 minus 1. And what is the derivative of x?
1.
Now you just clean it up. Negative 1 times 6 is negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. 8 plus x to the negative 2, or negative 6 over 8 plus x to the second power. Now, how hard is the chain rule? Not hard at all. Do one more. Let's see what time it is. I think 8:55, right? Yep, 3:55, sorry. All right, let's do one more, and I'm just going to, somebody pick a number. Let me go back to the homework. Pick a number.
11.
12.
11. Okay, you're going to have to do it. Oh, this is going to be product rule. So Y is the product rule and chain rule. Parentheses, 5x minus 1 to the 4th power times 2 minus x to the 4th to the 2nd power. Mr. Bostic, you know, that dadgum, that you sent me this right here. It's freaking me out every time I look over to my TV screen over here. Every time I look over there, I'm like, who is that? Thanks a lot, Mr. Bostic.
You're welcome.
Y prime is equal to first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. Okay, so that's going to be y prime, I'm sorry. It's going to be y prime is equal to 5x minus 1 to the 4th power. And here is our parentheses. And here's our parentheses. So this is going to be 2 parentheses 2 minus x to the 4th. 2 minus 1 is 1. And what is the derivative of negative x to the 4th?
Negative 4x to the 3rd.
Negative 4x to the 3rd. Plus 2 minus x to the 4th squared. 4 5x minus 1 to the 3rd. And then what is the derivative of 5x? 5. And now it's just algebraic cleanup. And I'm going to go, I got 2 more minutes. Y prime is equal to 5x minus 1 to the 4th power. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 times, x to the 3rd, sorry. Negative 8 x to the 3rd times 2 minus x to the 4th. You can distribute that. I don't know if you want to yet. That's going to be times, so that negative 8x to the 3rd can come out here. I'll just do that in just a second. 2 minus x to the 4th raised to the 2nd power. 4 times 5 is 20. 5x minus 1 to the 3rd. Now this 20 can come out here, and this 8x to the 3rd can come out here to kind of clean this up. Negative 8x to the 3rd, 5x minus 1 to the 4th, 2 minus x to the 4th, plus 20, 2 minus x to the 4th squared, and 5x minus 1 to the 3rd. I don't think you can do anything else. I think that'll probably be it. I don't know. They may distribute these. I don't know. That's a lot of algebra right there. So let's see what they got. I'm just going to put a 3 there. Four times 5. Okay, they did it up here. They're up here. I think they did a little bit more algebra. There's the 2x minus 4, 2 minus x to the 4th. They cleaned it up even more. So you can work on that over the weekend. I think what they did is they did some more work down here. Okay. All right, that's enough for today. Let me go ahead and get the rolls before some of y'all spontaneously combust. I gotta find where I am because, okay, please don't log me out. Please don't log me out. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I gotta go back out. Gotta pull it back up. Sorry. Brick Phone College.